Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update with yours truly. As you can imagine, we've got a lot to get into. Yesterday, we saw the Fed rate decision and press conference. Jerome Powell very much putting everyone to sleep again and saying everything that we already knew, and of course not deciding which was expected to lower interest rates. I don't think this bull market needs lower interest rates, in my opinion. It's done very well thus far, and I think it's going to continue to do so. So JP and what he's got going on and what came out of the Fed was really a nothing burger. The markets, probably because they were looking for something and didn't find that, did pull back a little bit, but it was minuscule. Certainly when you compare that to the broader uptrend that the crypto space, certainly Bitcoin, the totals and everything is now in. So I don't want to get into that. We've kind of covered that. There was also the President's Working Group on Digital Assets crypto report that dropped. We went into this with a kind of glass half empty perspective. We said anything above kind of it being bad is a bonus. And I think we got that bonus. Actually, I read the majority of the report and it was pretty good. To be honest, it kind of showed at least an understanding of this space. We'll look at a few highlights that I found within it. And we also had a lot of company earnings take place yesterday. And actually Microsoft, not Strategy, although I'm looking at MicroStrategy at the moment, there is a potential pattern that will give us confidence to the direction Bitcoin and the space is setting up. Microsoft did quite well. There's a few others that did quite well, so that could sort of pull the stock market up today. So I think the main thing that probably took place yesterday, Jerome Powell's press conference and rate decision really wasn't anything to be unexpected. And I think actually the President's Working Group on Digital Assets report was... Some people said it was a nothing burger. I think it was a little bit more than that. I actually think the fact that we're at this stage where digital assets are positioned in the manner they are and being accepted as being positioned in the manner they are by the likes of the president and the world as a whole is a big deal. And the fact that this report was even done in the first place shows at least a willingness to embrace this technology. And I think they, in my opinion, had quite a good understanding of the space. Above average, I would say, in regards to what the report showed, and I think that's better than what I was kind of expecting. But this is from the White House. The President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets released a report that provided a roadmap to user in the golden age of crypto. Together, we will make the US the crypto capital of the world. And I think there's a major play towards... I spoke to you guys, or mentioned it briefly. I'm going to riff it out a little bit more with Rob Allen when we release that interview. He's the head of future payments and an individual that is certainly involved in Project Acacia and what the Reserve Bank of Australia, their central bank, is doing. But we riffed on how nation states, for their own monetary sovereignty, are going to need to adopt crypto or they get dollarized, they get cannibalized by the dollar, which is a very interesting one. And that's one reason these individuals need to adopt this innovation. So this was interesting. I do want to talk to you guys about some other big news as well, but we'll save that towards the end. We'll focus on what was probably the most pressing. This is them. You've got Trump, David Sachs, obviously Bo Hines, and I'm unfamiliar with the other individuals. And of course, the report, we said we're going into it as with kind of a glass half-filled approach, I think outdid my expectations. Strengthening America's leadership in the digital asset financial sector. One of the things that they did was kind of highlight the history of the space, and the kind of adoption phases that we've been through. Obviously today talking about more broad government adoption due to regulation, treasury, stable coins, things like this. But they kind of 2024 was all about ETFs and things like this. 2022, 2023 was the FTX meltdown and the kind of catastrophe that unfolded. Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, all the nightmares. But you got things like Ondo, obviously a number of things coming out of that. 2020 to 2021 was the great bull run. 2018 to 2019 was infrastructure. And then 2017 was the big bubble, ICO bubble. And then you have blockchains, not Bitcoin. This is 2014 to 2016. It's amazing. I actually listened to someone, I won't say the individual's name because this might have some negative repercussions, who you will know about. He's probably someone that's going to be the most instrumental, or one of the most instrumental people in the world that is going to bridge the TradFi space with the crypto space. He actually came from an intelligence agency back in that period, 2013, 2014, and he said they were very interested in it. One of those three-letter agencies out of the United States, which is perhaps where Bitcoin may have come from. And then 2011, 2013 was first trading, and cypherpunks obviously before that. So they showed quite a decent understanding. There was quite a lot in there. Some of the kind of highlights for me were, of course, Hedera getting a mention, albeit in the footnotes. You can see getting a grip on DeFi ecosystem, Hedera. Hedera.com learn decentralized finance / DeFi stack. So they got a kind of shout out there. You also had Chainlink that got a shout out. If you don't understand Chainlink's role in this new crypto world that enables the financial system, I've not done my job properly. Chainlink is a protocol that will essentially allow this to work. Because what you have right now is a similar thing to the almost traditional financial space, where there's not just going to be one ledger, but how do you unify them? How do you keep state across the board? Well, you're going to need something like Chainlink with its Oracle and CCIP solutions to do that. It's a key part of infrastructure, and people are really sleeping on Chainlink, in my opinion. It's one of my largest positions for that reason, and has remained that for a long time. So Chainlink got a shout out, and of course Ondo. They got a shout out in regards to tokenization process, which is very interesting. So I think the report was certainly better than I was expecting. I think it showed far more of an understanding of the space, and the fact that we're even getting this report is the big level overview on why this is pretty impressive. But it showed quite an understanding of the space, and certainly a due diligence at least being done. And the fact that a president's mandate, or a president mandated this to actually be conducted in the first place, I think just shows how far this space has come. And I really do think in the coming years, guys, if you aren't invested in crypto, and this is not investment advice today, and you don't take that opportunity, a few years down the line, you're going to really be beating yourself up. I personally believe that. But that's not investment advice. There was a lot of other really significant news. So the report, we'll leave a link to it in the description, was, I think, better than expected if anyone wants to read through it. There was a lot of other interesting news. One huge news was JPMorgan Chase. Yep, Jamie Dimon's JPMorgan Chase and Coinbase launched a strategic partnership to make buying crypto easier than ever. It says direct bank to wallet connection. Through JPMorgan's secure API, Chase customers will be able to seamlessly link their bank accounts to Coinbase's wallet. Coinbase, my largest stock holding, it's about 400 and something % up for us. This direct connection, and do become a Patreon, guys. You'll get in on all those buys. We've started to buy. We've got a great crypto portfolio you'll unlock and be able to catch up on the back end of tomorrow's meeting. We're also pivoting into stocks at the moment, crypto-related stocks, and hoping for similar returns to what we've seen as far. So this direct connection will help mutual customers transact with the confidence, security, and privacy they're used to as customers of Chase. So this is interesting. Matt Hogan, who I think is Bitwise, CIO of Bitwise, says, in the future, there will be no line between our bank accounts and our crypto wallets. It's going to happen faster than most people think. I do believe so. Key infrastructure providers are already positioned for all of this. So there was a lot that went on. Fed Nothing Burger, literally that was the real Nothing Burger. He didn't say, it's pointless him even really doing it, to be honest. And this was significant. There was a lot of company earnings we can maybe talk about a little bit later, but the crypto report really, I think, was a highlight of yesterday, and it was better than I expected. But there's a lot going on in and around all of this. One thing reported here from James Seyfart, he's commenting on the back end of Eric Balanchunas' tweet. The SEC listing standards for crypto ETPs is out via new exchange filings. Bottom line, any coin that has a future tracking it for greater than 6 months on Coinbase Derivatives Exchange would be approved. Below is the list. It's about a dozen of the usual suspects, the same ones we had 85% or above in our odds. Question still, though, is timing, likely September, October. I'm also getting that from some of the institutions that are, even some of the ones that are filing these, that's about the timeline they're looking at. Greg has a good thread for some more loyal details. And you can see here, obviously, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dogecoin, Polkadot, SHIB, Avalanche, Chainlink, Stellar. Lots of people are... We've been making a lot of great Stellar content. We've got the top position in regards to Stellar content. And lots of people are asking, well, hang on, why aren't Stellar launching ETFs and ETF involved in this? Well, they are, and I'll show you that maybe in a video later on today. Solana, Hedera, fantastically, Cardano, NXRP. And I'm interested in what James Safar's take on this was. If the rule is finalised as is, the SEC pseudo outsourced the decision making for which digital assets will be allowed in an ETF wrapper. The CFTC is the primary decider of what assets can have futures, and contracts having futures is the primary requirement for this rule. This is a big deal. And you're positioned, if you're in the crypto space right now, you're literally positioned to benefit from an asset class that hasn't even been able to become that and unlock the capital that regulated asset classes can. But also position for whatever price appreciation we see on the back end of real usage and utility and demand for these underlying tokens. That's exciting, and our job has really been to keep you guys interested in this space up until we reach that kind of snowball moment, which, I mean, we're here. The velocity behind the space is just undeniable. To do a little bit of TA, when it comes to Bitcoin, we don't need to really go over the bigger trajectory because it's just very obvious. And the total 2 is one we've been looking at, saying this is a cup and handle that's going to see real continuation on the back end of the space. We did look at a potential smaller time frame flag here. This is a flag. This could be a broadening structure that you're likely going to break out to the upside of, and then fulfill those broader technical targets that we have for you. And I think BTC DOM, I'm looking at this as a potential right shoulder that could lead to the kind of alt season we've been expecting. And maybe that's signaled by what we're seeing with ETH strategies and that kind of institutional, perhaps not shift, but move towards Ethereum recently, with it rivaling ETH inflows, in fact, engulfing Bitcoin inflows via CoinShares report last week and rivaling them the week before. All is well. It's such an exciting time, in my opinion, to be in the cryptocurrency space. Investing in crypto is for everybody, but some people, need to put their sanity first, I think. Because some people just simply can't. I see I would say, immature comments in regards to, if the price goes down one day, they kind of can't handle it. And in this market, volatility is inherent, and you're going to get lots of chop, lots of volatility. It's inherent, and that means prices don't just go in one direction all the time. And you've got to be able to deal with those down days. And hopefully we can help you with that by sort of impressing that broader vision or journey the space on as a whole and technical analysis that kind of confirms that. Ladies and gents, that's it from me. I actually thought the report was a good one. Nothing burger from Jerome Powell. We did get good company earnings we're not going to talk about. We've got non-farm coming on the end of the week, so tomorrow, and unemployment stats, so that's going to be interesting to see. Dixie strength sort of weaning a little bit today. It has been very strong and leaning on assets, but all is good in the hood. Hang in there. I'll see you all in tomorrow's Daily Market Update. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.